Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We want to chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
Well, I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money. I personally work with you, even if you don't have any needs today. Save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we are celebrating today. We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. What do we have on tap today for our celebration? Oh, today's National Spinach Day. Yeah, did we have to even show that one, Josh? I don't. Josh, you a spinach guy? Yeah, me neither. It's I don't know. I think you can put spinach and kale right together with each other. They're both of them. You cook both of them in a pan full of oil, so it slips right into the trash, real nice and easy. But having beaten anorexia, I could go with National Nougat Day because that's a nice looking candy that I could get behind that one. So anytime you're dealing with candy, you can't go wrong on something like that. Crunchy candy, hard candy, often found at the center of a candy bar. Hey, you mix that in with some nuts and doesn't do any good for my diet, but sometimes you just have to go with
it is what it is.
Exactly. Now let's take a look and see what the markets are doing today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average down 157 points. The NASDAQ is down 242. S&P 500 is down 50. Oil up $4.18 per barrel. We don't like seeing that. Ow! Which tells us the gasoline prices are probably still on the rise. They've been going up, not nearly as bad through the rest of the country as it is here in Gavin's California with all of his taxes and fees. $5.84 a gallon. The statewide average, $3.98 is what the rest of the country is paying. So we've got the Gavin 2. Gavin 2, that's about $2 a gallon that we get to pay extra because of Gavin's policies, and he wants to take it to the rest of the country. Aren't we all lucky?
You know better than that.
Not exactly. So we're all watching what's going on. Now, what's driving the market? So I look at all this different data, and if I were to show you my screen of what we put up, one day I might show you the screen of the data that we have on what's going on in the markets. And it's things that we track on a regular basis so we can share this with our private clients. Now, when we look at some of these different numbers, we're looking at them and saying, so what's going on? What's driving this? And you can see today, the only data that's really come out is consumer sentiment came out. And we've got the University of Michigan gave out their stuff, but it doesn't mean a thing. Why do I say it doesn't mean a thing? Because the only thing that matters right now is what's going on in the Middle East, what's going on in the perception of what's going on. Now, we know that if you're listening to the mainstream media, listen to Fox, you get one side, you listen to everybody else, you get the other side. So obviously it's all skewed to the everybody else side. But when you listen to someone like the Treasury Secretary, well, he tells you there's plenty of oil available. We don't have any shortage of oil. So supply and demand says that oil prices should not continue to go up the way they're up, about 4.7% as I'm broadcasting right now. Why is it doing that? It's all because of the perception. It's all because of the media narrative saying, oh, we're losing the war. Well, yeah, they've cut down on their drones and missiles by 90% because they're so excited with what's going on over there. Now, they've been on a 47-year mission to destroy Israel and destroy the United States. And all of a sudden, they've minimized the amount of missiles and drones they're sending out. Does that make sense to anybody when you use any kind of logic? Now, I don't know any more than anybody else does. I did hear an interview with Lindsey Graham recently that basically said they were 2 weeks away from having enough enriched uranium to put that on top of a ballistic missile and create either a nuclear bomb or a dirty bomb. Now, they told us that they could only go 4,000 kilometers, which is about 2,000 miles. But wait a second, they sent a intercontinental ballistic missile 2,500 miles. So it just shows you can't believe anything that's coming out of Tehran, except that you get John Brennan, who is a disgraced CIA head, saying that he believes Iran more than he believes the United States government. Maybe that's why he lost his credentials to get any kind of classified information, is because nobody can trust Brennan. Maybe that's where the whole issue is. So why do I talk about that when we're talking about a home and finance radio show? Because these are the issues that are driving the market right now. When I look at the 10-year Treasury, it's up 5 basis points. It was up less than that earlier today. I look at the mortgage bond. It's down 31 basis points, which means interest rates are up. All of this commentary is what's driving the markets, not what's really happening. Because when we look at the oil amount, the oil buildup, and the oil production, we continue to see that's not where the problems are. It's all in the perception, because the amount of oil being produced and the amount of oil being used is still in very good shape. And we're going to put that into the Ron Siegel Radio community later today about oil and yields, what's going on and why it's driving the market. So we'll have that in the community. If you want free access to the community, register. rsrlinks.com/HBOD. rsrlinks.com/HBOD. You can go in there and you'll get our commentary whenever we post it. And we try and put that up there as often as we can. A lot going on right now, so don't always get it in there. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, Mortgage Minute, tax refund credit strategy. Most financial advisors never talk about the best week to list your house is just around the corner. Your kids don't have to wait for you to die, and a $300 policy could protect $1 million in assets. Most people do not have it. All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you missed any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452. You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message. And I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by rsrlinks.com/mobile app, rsrlinks.com/mobile app. And every day at this time, OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual lock rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. They do not tell us points paid, points received, or the APR. They tell us the number you need to put in your mortgage calculator to determine your principal and interest payment. If you don't have a mortgage calculator, shame on you. We offer them all the time. It's free. rsrlinks.com/calculators. rsrlinks.com/calculators. Mixed day yesterday. Conventional 30-year fixed down 6.356. Jumbo 30-year fixed up 6.535. FHA 30-year fixed down 6.088. VA 30-year fixed down 5.966. And the USDA 30-year fixed 5.982. That one was up. Now, again, as I mentioned in the opening segment, if you want to access our thoughts about the market each and every business day morning as early as the data allows, you can get that rsrlinks.com/HBOD, rsrlinks.com/HBOD. What's going on in the markets right now? That's the topic of conversation. The S&P 500 is now down 51 points. Oil is up $4.10 a barrel. The 10-year Treasury, if my screen would get out of the way, 10-year Treasury is up little over 5 basis points, 4.383, and the mortgage bond is down 33 basis points. Remember, bond down, rates up. It is just mathematics. What's driving it? So much for yesterday's optimism. It's waning and bonds are back on the roller coaster. Yesterday, the markets were optimistic of a resolution between the U.S. and Iran as the U.S. sent a 15-point peace plan to which the administration said Iran agreed to never have nuclear capabilities. Since then, Iran's foreign minister reportedly told state media that top authorities are reviewing the American proposal to end the war, but that they have no intention of having any talks with the U.S. This morning, President Trump said in a Truth Social post that Iran, quote unquote, better get serious soon before it's too late, because once that happens, there is no turning back and it won't be pretty, unquote. Clearly, this message brings into question how constructive the talks have been and point to an escalation. Adding to that possibility is a statement from Gulf countries who have condemned Iran's criminal strikes on their energy infrastructure. They added that they are ready to defend themselves going forward, meaning they've had enough. Iran put out their own proposal where they want to charge a toll to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. Meanwhile, U.S. troops are set to arrive tomorrow, which could lead to more escalation. As a result of the waning optimism, oil prices are higher and yields are moving higher in response. Jobless claims, which measures individuals filing for unemployment benefits for the very first time, rose 5,000 to 210,000. This figure remains low, but does not capture those entering the gig economy. Continuing claims, or those who continue to receive benefits after their initial claim, fell 32,000 to 1.82 million. Generational Wealth Housing Report and Northwestern Mutual. Many buyers are like deer in the headlights with the volatility in the markets and rates rising. While that's understandable, a contrarian sees the opportunity during such times. Because of current environment, a buyer may be able to get a better deal and have more negotiating power. There can also be significant wealth benefits from buying earlier in life versus waiting. The Generational Wealth and Housing Report from Realtor.com show the benefit of buying a home early and not waiting, and how that impacts an individual's net worth in the future. Based on someone aged 50, here are their stats of how much additional net worth they would have based on when they bought a home. Age 28 to 32, 22.5%. Age 33 to 37, 11.2%. Age 38 to 42, 1.5%. Age 43 to 52, nada. Additionally, Northwestern Mutual released a study showing that parents are much more likely to help their children with a home purchase, and they believe it may be more important than college. 74% of parents say they'd consider or already plan to help their children to buy a home. Or those parents, 84%, say it's equally as important or more important to help them buy a home than paying for college. Yeah, interesting. You got the need for trade workers, and we're seeing that dramatically now, and there's a lot more to come with the trade workers need. That's the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at rsrlinks.com/mobile app, rsrlinks.com/mobile app. Let's see, Borrow Smart segment today being brought to you by gethomeselect.com, gethomeselect.com. You worked your whole life building something, a home, some savings, a plan for your family. But here's a question worth thinking about. What if your kids need that help right now, not 20 years from now? I am Ron Siegel, Certified Liability Advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. Today, I want to talk about something that's happening more and more across the country, and I'm seeing it right here in Southern California. Parents are choosing to give their children part of their inheritance early, not because they have to, because they want to, because it actually makes a lot of sense for the whole family. Here's why this matters to you, whether you're the parent or the adult child in this picture. We are in the middle of the largest transfer of wealth in American history. Financial researchers estimate that somewhere north of $80 trillion is expected to pass from older generations to younger ones by 2045. That's a number so big it almost doesn't register. But what it means practically is this. Families all across the country are sitting on significant assets, mostly in their home equity, and they're starting to ask a different question. Instead of, how do I pass this on when I'm gone? They're asking, how do I help my kids right now while I can see them use it? And here in California, that question hits especially close to home. Literally, we have some of the most expensive real estate in the country, and young people trying to buy their first home in Orange County is looking at a down payment that might take them a decade to save on their own. A son or daughter buried in student loans is watching their financial life get pushed back 5, 10 years before it even really starts. Parents see this, and more of them are stepping in. Now, there are a few things going on that are making this easier and smarter to do than ever before. First, the tax laws have actually shifted in a way that helps families. As of 2026, the federal estate tax exemption is $15 million per individual. For a married couple, that's $30 million you can pass to your heirs without federal estate taxes. And the annual gift tax exclusion went up $19,000 per recipient. So mom and dad could give $19,000 each to a son and $19,000 each to a daughter-in-law this year alone. And not $1 of that triggers a gift tax return. That's real money, and it's an opportunity a lot of families don't even know they have. Second, and this is where my world comes in, home equity is one of the biggest assets in a family's financial picture. I talk with homeowners all the time who have done a great job building equity in their property, but they've never really thought about what role that equity could play in their family's overall financial picture right now. Not after they're gone, right now. So what does this mean for you? Well, it depends on your situation. I'm not an estate planning attorney. I'm not a financial advisor. And I want to be really clear about that. What I am is someone who has been in this industry since 1983, who understands how to look at households' full financial picture and help them think through what the real strategy looks like. And part of that strategy involves connecting families with the right professionals who can help them with the estate planning side of things. If you want to explore the estate planning conversation, I have trusted partners who can walk you through that. Go to rsrlinks.com/estate. I'll connect you with people I trust that have conversation right away. Now, let me bring this back to something I talk about on this show because it ties directly into this topic. Your home equity is not just a number on a piece of paper. It is a tool, and tools are meant to be used. Too many homeowners treat their equity like it's locked in a vault, and the only time they get to open it is when they sell the house or when they pass away. But what if there was a way to put that equity to work right now for your family while protecting your own financial security at the same time? That's not a hypothetical. There are real strategies that allow families to access their home equity thoughtfully in a way that supports their retirement, supports their kids, and doesn't leave them exposed if something unexpected comes up. Remember, people are living longer. Retirement can last 30 years. Balance generosity. You have to balance generosity with security, and you have to plan for both. To understand how your home equity fits into the bigger picture, go to rsrlinks.com/homewealth. That's rsrlinks.com/homewealth. It'll give you a starting point for that conversation. Here's what I want you to take away from today. Estate planning is not just for wealthy families. It's something you do once in your 60s. It's not something you do once in your 60s and forget about. It's a living strategy that should involve your family, your home, your mortgage, and a team of professionals who all understand how the pieces fit together. If your mortgage advisor isn't talking to your estate planning attorney and your estate planning attorney doesn't know what your home equity looks like, you may have some gaps in your plan that nobody's noticed yet. My job is to help you see the whole picture, and that starts with a conversation. Go to rsrlinks.com/estate. That's rsrlinks.com/estate for estate planning referrals, and rsrlinks.com/homewealth to start understanding your home equity, or call us at 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. I am Ron Siegel, your certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic tech management. Thanks for listening to the Borrow Smart segment, brought to you by GetHomeSelect.com. GetHomeSelect.com. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, the best week to list your house is just around the corner, and the tax refund credit strategy most financial advisors never talk about. All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the First Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Best week to list your house is just around the corner. While the spring season consistently offers up some of the best conditions for home sellers, Realtor.com says there's one window where the stars really seem to align year after year, and it's coming up fast. Based on their analysis of historical trends, the ideal week to put your house on the market this year is April 12 to 18. And here's why this window stands out as being particularly seller-friendly. Buyers are more active, according to research coming out of Realtor.com. Homes listed during this week typically get about 16.7% more views than in a normal week. And in a market where buyers have options, getting that extra attention can set the tone for your entire sale. Sales happen faster. Realtor.com also explains the added demand from buyers sets you up for a faster process. While homes have been taking longer to sell lately, homes up for sale this week were on the market for 17% less time than usual, and that's a difference you'll be able to feel. A better price for your house. Since the number of homes for sale has grown, it's normal for buyers to ask for credits, repairs, and price adjustments today. But during this early spring window, about 18.9% fewer homes do a price cut. That gives you a better chance of getting your full asking price. More profit in your pocket. According to the study, well-prepped homes listed this week can command a price that's about $5,300 more than average and $26,000 more than homes at the start of the year. Remember, that's national numbers. Here in Southern California, it's probably higher. And what seller doesn't want, more eyes on their house, getting an offer in hand sooner rather than later, and their best shot at selling for top dollar. That's why we have the ad platform that we put people on, and our realtor partners all get all their homes listed on streaming TV. What you need to do to get ready, if you're already thinking about selling and you want to take advantage of this sweet spot, your next step is shockingly simple. Just talk to a local agent. Their expertise on your area is going to be key over the next few weeks because these trends are going to vary by state, city, and even neighborhood. And your agent will use that insider knowledge to help you figure out what you need to know, how to, and what you need to do now to get your house ready, including what you'll want to spruce up before listing, how to prioritize any repairs and contractors that can help, quick wins that'll have a big impact, what buyers care most about today. For some sellers, that's a few easy fixes that can knock out in the next couple of weeks. A fresh coat of paint, some new mulch, or some light spring cleaning. For others, it's worth taking another month or so to make some minor updates before listing. And that's okay, because while this mid-April window may give sellers an advantage, it's not your only opportunity to sell. Zillow says the best time to list is in May. And that means the golden window for sellers isn't closing after this 1 week. It's open all season long. Bottom line, get your house on the market in mid-April may give you an extra edge. But the bigger opportunity is this spring season as a whole. The real question is, do you know what you need to do before you can list? Because it's officially go time for any seller planning a spring move. Did you get the home seller's guide? rsrlinks.com/HSG. rsrlinks.com/HSG. That is our home seller's guide. If you want your house to hit the market this week or even this season, let's talk about what it'll take to get it ready. That is the Real-Time Real Estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Borrow Smart segment today. Borrow Smart segment brought to you by Get Homes. Oh, I just hit the wrong button. Borrow Smart brought to you by gethomeselect.com. You got to love it when you hit the wrong button when you're in the middle of a broadcast. Let's see. There it is. Being that I closed it inadvertently. Borrow Smart's brought to you by gethomeselect.com, gethomeselect.com. A few $100s a year could be the difference between keeping everything you have built and watching a lawsuit take it away. That is not a scare tactic. That is just the math. I am Ron Siegel, Certified Liability Advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. And today we're talking about something that does not get nearly enough attention in financial conversations. Umbrella liability insurance. Most people have never heard of it. A lot of people who have heard of it think it's only for the very wealthy. They are wrong on both counts. And by the end of today's episode, you're going to understand exactly why. Let me start with a number. There are currently nearly 22 millionaires in the United States. 22 million millionaires. Now, here's the thing about building wealth. As your net worth grows up, so does your exposure. People with assets are more likely to be sued, and you not even have to actually be wealthy. If someone perceives you as having money, that is often enough to make you a target. Personal injury claims can run into the millions, and the standard insurance policies most people carry, your auto insurance, your homeowner's insurance, have limits. When a claim goes above those limits, you're on your own. So what does that look like in real life? Here's a scenario worth thinking through. Imagine your teenage son borrows the car and gets in a serious accident. The other driver is badly hurt. A lawsuit follows. The judgment comes in at $1 million. Your auto insurance has a $500,000 liability limit. It covers half. What about the other 500,000? Without umbrella coverage, that comes out of your pocket. And out of your pocket is not abstract. That could mean liquidating investment accounts. It could mean losing the equity in your home. In some cases, it could mean wage garnishment. Everything you have spent years building, gone because of one afternoon and one accident. Now, here's the part that most people do not know. Umbrella liability insurance is not expensive. It is usually sold in increments of $1 million and typically costs just a few $100s a year. A few $100s for $1 million or more in additional coverage that sits on top of everything else you already have. And it covers a lot more than car accidents. We're talking about bodily injuries, property damage caused by you or anyone in your household, and it goes further than that. Libel, slander, false arrest, defamation of character. If you ever give an interview that gets published, if you are active on social media, if your business has any kind of public presence, these are real exposures that most people never think about until something goes wrong. So who should be looking at this kind of coverage? A short answer, almost anyone who's carefully building a financial picture. But there are some situations where it becomes especially important if you have teenage drivers at home, if you own a dog, particularly larger or more aggressive breed, if you entertain frequently and serve alcohol to guests, if you operate any kind of business out of your home, if you own a boat, jet skis, motorcycles, or a snowmobile. If you live in a way that suggests financial success, even if you're still working toward it. Here's the line I want you to remember from today. You do not have to be a millionaire to be sued for $1 million. Think about that for a second. Anyone who is building something, a home, a retirement account, a business, a family, has something worth protecting. And umbrella coverage is one of the least expensive ways to put a wall between what you have built and the things you cannot predict. Now, I want to be clear about something. I am not an insurance agent. That is not my lane. My lane is helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. And part of that conversation is always about safety. Safety is the first leg of the framework of safety, liquidity, and return. If you're exposed to a liability that can wipe out your assets, none of the other work we do together matters. So if you have never had a conversation about umbrella coverage, or if you're not sure what you currently have or whether it is enough, that conversation starts with getting a clear picture of where you stand. Go to rsrlinks.com/keysteps. That's rsrlinks.com/keysteps. We'll help you take a look at your full financial picture and figure out the right next move. It does not cost you anything to start the conversation. I am Ron Siegel, your Certified Liability Advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. Thanks for listening to the Borrow Smart segment, brought to you by GetHomeSelect.com, GetHomeSelect.com. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, the tax refund credit strategy most financial advisors never talk about, all that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by rsrlinks.com/debt-free, rsrlinks.com/debt-free. Most people will spend their tax refund before they ever stop to think about it. A few weeks go by and the money is just gone. Today, I want to talk about a better idea. I am Ron Siegel, Certified Liability Advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. Tax season is here, and if you're expecting a refund this year, today's show is for you, because that refund, if you use it right, can do something most people never think to ask it to do. It can move your credit score. Let me start with a number. The average American gets roughly $3,000 back from the IRS each year. That's real money. And before you decide what to do with it, there is something worth knowing. That refund is not a gift. It's not a bonus. It's your own money. You overpaid your taxes throughout the year. The government held it interest-free, and now you're getting it back. So the right question when it hits your account is not, what do I want to buy? The right question is, how do I put this to work? And one of the most powerful things it can work on is your credit score. Now, I know credit score conversations can feel a little abstract, like it's just a number somewhere that does not really touch your daily life. But let me tell you why it matters more than most people realize. Your credit score directly affects your cost of borrowing. In my world, the cost of borrowing is everything. The rate you pay on your mortgage, your auto loan, your credit cards, that is money leaving your household every single month. A higher score means lower rates. Lower rates means more of your income stays with you when we talk about the household blended interest rate. What we're really talking about is the total cost of all the debt in your combined life. And your credit score is one of the most direct levers you have to bring that number down. So what can a $3,000 refund actually do for your score? The single highest impact move is paying down credit card balances, specifically targeting the cards that are closest to their limits. Here's the mechanic behind this. Your score is partly based on something called credit utilization, the percentage of your available credit that you are currently using. If you have a card with a $1,000 limit and a $900 balance, you are at 90% utilization. The bureaus treat that as a sign of stress. Paying it down under $300, under 30%, can move your score noticeably within a single billing cycle. And if you can get it under $100, under 10%, even better, score movement within 30 days is realistic. If you want a simple way to stay on top of this, go to rsrccpayment.com, rsrccpayment.com. It's a resource we put together specifically to help you manage credit card payments strategically. Here's something a lot of people get wrong after they pay a card down. They close the account. Do not do that. Closing the account removes available credit, which can actually hurt your utilization ratio and drop the score you just worked to raise. Pay it down, keep it open, and let that available credit sit there working in your favor. Now, what if your balances are already in decent shape? Or you're just starting to build credit from scratch? Part of that refund can go toward opening a secured credit card. The way a secured card works is this. You put down a deposit, say $500, and that deposit becomes your credit limit. Then you use it for one small recurring expense like a streaming service or a phone bill. You set up auto pay for the full balance every month. You're building a perfect payment history with zero interest charges and zero drama. Most secured cards will graduate to a regular unsecured card after 6 to 12 months of clean history. And payment history is the single largest factor in your FICO score. Over 35% of the calculation, one late payment can sit on your credit report for 7 years. 7 years. That's a long time to be penalized for one bad month, which leads me to a strategy that does not sound like a credit strategy at all. Building an emergency fund. Here's why it belongs in this conversation. Most people do not damage their credit because they are irresponsible. They damage it because life happened. The car needed work. A medical bill showed up, and suddenly a credit card payment got missed. A small cushion, even $500 to $1,000 sitting in a separate savings account, breaks that chain. Think of it as protection for your payment history, because every on-time payment builds your score, and even one missed payment can set you back years. And if you have accounts that are already past due right now, that is your first stop. If you have something 30, 60, or 90 days late, catching it up before it charges off is the most urgent move. Accounts typically charge off after 180 days of non-payment. A charge-off is a much harder mark to recover from than a simple late payment. Many creditors have hardship programs if you call them. They will often work with you, especially before the account gets too far behind. Here's the way I want you to think about all this together. Your credit score is a financial tool. It controls what you pay to borrow, and what you pay to borrow determines how much of your income actually stays in your household. In the framework I use with every family I work with, safety, liquidity, and return. Getting your credit picture clean and strong is part of building that safety layer. It gives you options. And when you have options, you make better decisions across every part of your financial life. A tax refund that disappears into everyday spending is gone in a few weeks, and you'll barely remember it. A refund that reduces your credit card utilization, shores up your emergency cushion, or brings a delinquent account current. That changes your picture for months or years. That is the kind of move worth making. Bottom line, go to rsrlinks.com/keysteps. That's rsrlinks.com/keysteps. We'll take a look at your full financial picture, including where your credit stands and what the smartest next moves look like for you. It does not cost you anything to start that conversation. I am Ron Siegel, your certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. That is, thanks for listening to Your Credit Matters segment, brought to you by rsrlinks.com/debt-free, rsrlinks.com/debt-free. And as always, we ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh and Sean who are engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.